Hey, thanks for checking out this audio or video series here. Again, we're talking about Islam and Christianity and the relationship between the two, the differences, the similarities. We're trying to think through these things and avoid what's called cognitive dissonance or mental laziness. We want to challenge our thinking. We want to challenge what we believe and why we believe it. That is true of Christianity, that hopefully is true of Islam and Muslims. And so we want to sit here and actually ask the tough questions. We don't just want to walk around saying, I believe it, and when we're challenged, close our eyes, close our ears, run away and say, you just don't have enough faith, or you haven't heard from God, or whatever it is. We truly want to ask the questions and know why we believe what we believe. And so I challenge you, listen in. This is, of course, heavily based on my opinions. I take information from writings that other people have made, as well as some other sources here and there, and put some commentary in between. Hopefully it's useful, hopefully it's challenging, and well, let's just get into it. So today we're going to talk about the view on heaven and hell from a Muslim's perspective and from a Christian's perspective. And so today, the first thing I want to get into is just discussing the fact that Muslims believe that everyone will either attain the punishment of hell or the reward of paradise, or heaven, as Christ followers would call it. Now, what's interesting is that Christians believe something very similar. They believe in heaven and hell. Many times we believe in grace, mercy, forgiveness, redemption, the redeeming power of Isa, or Jesus. And so there are some similarities, but there are some drastic differences, and I challenge you to explore both of them and see why it is that you believe what you believe. And so Surah 35:7, which is from the Quran, says, "For those who reject Allah is a terrible penalty, but for those who believe and work," key word there, work righteous deeds, is forgiveness and a magnificent reward. Now, we did discuss earlier that Allah does not love sinners, that He does not seek to redeem anyone Himself, that He asks for complete allegiance and submission to His will. And so we find a very strict or perfection-based God in Islam and in the Muslim faith. And of course in Christianity we find a lot of that too in the religious side of things. But when you look at the life of Jesus, when you read about it, you find a lot of grace, you find a lot of forgiveness, you find a lot of understanding, a lot of tolerance, even for people who are not doing what's necessarily right. There's a lot of challenge in there as well. Jesus would walk around and He would love someone who was terribly off the mark, and protect them and save them, like the woman caught in adultery. But then He would say, do not do this anymore. Go and change your life. And so there is that demand, but there is also that holy hug, if you will, that massive connection between the person of the Christian faith that we look up to, Jesus, and it just seems to not exist in Islam or the Muslim faith. And so for a Muslim, hell is a place where unbelievers and sinners will spend eternity. One translation of the Quran states, "The unbelievers among the people of the book," which, by the way, is referring to Christians and Jews, and the pagans, "shall burn forever in the fire of hell," it says. They are the vilest of creatures. You can find that in Surah 98, 1 through 8. And so the magnificent reward that Muslims hope to achieve in paradise is what they call the Garden of Bliss. Well, they will be joined by their spouses, which, by the way, will be resurrected as virgins and waited on by immortal youths. Now, in Christianity, a Christ follower, when they get to heaven, they believe that there's neither marriage nor relationship. When you get there, all of that is sort of washed away. You may have, we don't know for sure, but you may have recognition of somebody that you knew here. You may know that they were your husband, your wife, your partner, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, but there is no marriage in heaven. There's no resurrected virgin spouse, if you will. And so, again, massive difference. maybe subtle to some people, but it's a tremendous difference in the structure of what we believe heaven is. And so ask yourself again, why? Why can, one say one thing and one say the other? Is one true and one not? Can they both somehow be true? Ask yourself the tough questions. The answer is very important. And so the Muslims believe that they will, in this place called heaven or paradise, they will enjoy sensual pleasures. They will enjoy choice food and drink. They will enjoy nice clothing. They will enjoy jewelry. They will enjoy lovely companions and beautiful virgins. And this all comes from the Surah, hope I'm pronouncing that correct, 56, 12 through 37. One of my friends has sort of a rough around the edges joke. He says, yeah, they're going to have beautiful virgins in heaven, but it doesn't say that that they are of the opposite sex or that they're even human. And that's true. It doesn't say that. So, even though that's a very unique and really off-base sort of question to ask, test your thinking. Ask those questions. When we get to heaven, as Christ followers, we believe that Jesus will be there. He will judge our works and give us rewards for what we did, but our sins will not be counted against us. Why is that? Because according to our faith, Isa, as he's known in the Muslim faith, or Jesus, came to the earth. He was hung on a cross. He died on the cross, was buried in a tomb, rose from the dead, conquering death. He paid the penalty for sin. We'll get into that more in some future audio recordings here. But again, the Muslims' faith believes that Jesus was never even hung on that cross. They think that maybe it was Judas. They say that a prophet of Allah, which they believe Jesus is a prophet of God. They call him Isa, I-S-A. They believe that if that prophet died, was killed, then he failed in his mission. The exact opposite of Christianity. So I challenge you again, why is that important that they're totally opposite from one another? Think about it. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this. We're going to go on to the next one soon.